The regular select board meeting for October 5th, 2023. First order of business, pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First thing, do we have any public comment? Sue?
I brought it up about 6 weeks ago about the handicap parking, if you guys remember.
Yeah.
I wanted to know if that is going to be increased. Right now it's 4, correct, Ty? And I would like to see it increase just a little bit because I am not parking up to the school this year. I went to the doctors, I cannot go from the school over. I am a Highgate taxpayer. I've been a Highgate supporter for being there for over 35 years and Ty knows that.
And we talked to Ty, and I think Ty had mentioned something about what they were going to do. I know it's in the works.
Okay.
The record's talking about it.
Don't. I'm just, because it's not just me, there's a lot of handicapped people that uses the rink.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I got something to say about that myself. You go any shopping center, I don't care where you go, how many handicaps are there? There's 4, that's it. You go Hannaford, there's 3,
Yeah.
and Armstrong's got 1. So why do we need 100, let's say 10 handicap? Every place has got 4 at the most.
Yeah.
I've, you know, they can drop them off at the door and park.
I
Because
think,
most of your handicapped people don't drive, so they can be dropped off at the door, then they can be.
I just think that we just, there seems to be a lot of old grandparents and that are driving themselves, and you know, Sue asked about it, and Ty and the rec are talking about it, and they'll get back to us.
My mother's 91 years old.
Yeah.
She's still got a license, and she does not have a handicap,
Yeah,
and she refused to get one.
yeah,
She still gets her done.
yeah,
But we have one right out here that never gets used,
yeah.
so, I mean, how many more years would it?
Yeah.
And I understand where you're coming from, Lily, but I've been there for 35 years. I've collected bottles for that arena, and Ty knows that. I have given them a lot of money, and I'm just asking, I cannot park over the school this year, or I will not be there. And I've been there 35 years.
A lot of people gotta park at the school because there's
And I do have-
not even enough parking
But
places
I do
there.
have a handicap sign.
So Sue,
Yep,
the next board, rec board meeting, I'll go, and I'll talk to them, and the next board.
and I'd be
meeting-
more than happy to go.
And the next board meeting, I'll come back and
Okay.
tell you what they said,
Okay,
word
thank
for
you,
word.
thank you.
Yeah. Any other public comment? Okay. There's none. I guess the first thing is police update. Jason and get the other.
Hi, dude. I'm Morris Lamont from the Chief of the Police Department. Well, thanks for having us, first of all. We can answer any questions you have. We can give you a real brief overview of where we're at with our department. I think that's why we're here.
Yeah.
And with your town contract. The town contract we've had here for several years. It was in place before I came, even 4 years ago. We've enjoyed this town contract, as all of you know on the board. It's ending in about 9 months or so. This last contract we signed, which began a few months ago, gave us the ability, because we had to reduce the hours as our staffing allowed or justified. So we haven't been out here as many hours as our contract allows. We're doing it when we can. Responding to calls when we're out here. I think we've had 90 calls this year, like we said, since January. So we're more, when we're out here, taking, like I said, we're not out here every day. We're not out here filling the hours. We're billing the town for the hours we are out here. But not anything more than that. We are gearing up for our next contract. Our next contract, as most of you know, it says very clearly that we can't have any other town contracts unless that town we're contracting with gives us permission. So I don't know where that's going to bring us in the future for any other town contracts. So our focus right now is still servicing your towers when we can, but our focus is building for the future of that contract as well. And that's where our staffing concerns are right now. We have 2 people in training, one that's at the academy, one in training at the office, and a few more that we're trying to get spun up that just started with us. And we're getting there. It's a long process.
We're still working a couple of long-term issues, so to speak, that we've been dealing with over the course of several years. That happens on a pretty regular basis, without getting into too much detail about specifics. But I know you're aware of them, at least one of them. So we're still doing that stuff too. That's not a build service, so to speak, even though we're putting in that hour too. But nonetheless.
You know, we hear some of the typical, I say typical, I don't want to downplay the complaints that are coming out of here, but they are, some of the typical complaints come in late summer particularly, from my 25 years or more. That we've done some proactive things that not everybody sees, that we're working on right now to try to get a handle on what's going on with some of the traffic issues and complaints. We'll have some more data on that soon. We have some things in place that people don't know about, don't see, and that's what we use that for, to collect information. And we'll use that and get back and see what we have to do for our patrol hours when we are up here, and if there is need to do more or less. But there's still work going on.
In specific
In
areas.
very
So.
specific areas.
And we can share that data with you too.
When we get to return on.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But we hope we've been at least responsive to all of you, and we'll continue to be up till June. And then after that, if there becomes time in the future, we take on more time with other towns, and this would be one that we've enjoyed working with.
Yeah, we enjoyed having you. Does anybody in the board have any questions?
I do have some questions. Nick can attest to this, we're getting some dump garbage in a lot of places with names. Do we still can use your services for that if we need to?
I've gotten emails in the past
Okay,
and been able to
because
follow
we
up.
don't have a, we don't have
Oh, because it
a.
used to come from, who's
Yeah.
solid waste?
Barry.
Barry?
Very, he's no
Thanks
longer
again.
with them, so, it's actually, some of them are weird because they're like in sealed Ziploc envelope, like they maybe were stolen and not just dropped, but we're not really sure. But it's all the same names, like 7 different names, so we don't, just odd.
7 different names, all from the same address.
Yeah, a St. Albans address,
Four
yeah.
Sawyer Street.
Well, that's,
And it's like birth certificates, it's weird stuff.
W-2s.
Can we still?
Yeah,
it could be a number of different things, but
So
I have it in my car, so I can turn it over, but I'm a health officer, so I get involved in that as well.
generally an email with pictures.
Okay,
So if you come across something, whoever's out and about, if you take a good picture of it, when you
Yeah.
come across
I
information,
can forward it.
an email, and then I can either deal with it or assign it.
Okay,
Those are usually relatively quick, that's usually a ticket.
the one thing just to clarify, if Lieutenant was wondering, probably was, but we aren't in the business, or we want to be, to hold, to get calls that are held for us when another agency isn't taking the initial. So I don't want anybody thinking in here, or you or anybody else watching, that if a burglary or theft, for ease of, for this example, comes in, that if you call or wait, hold it for us, we'll take it, we're on duty for this time frame. That's absolutely our call, we will take it and investigate it to the best of our ability. But we don't want it being held for us to come on because you're unhappy with the response from somebody else, and I'm not suggesting it happens. But don't do that, because it doesn't work well for us or them. It should, if something comes in, it should be reported immediately. This is different, that is
yeah,
different.
no, this is good.
But don't hold anything else, that's all I'm asking. Don't send emails to him or anybody else for something that occurred that should be investigated when it came in, that's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
Anybody have anything else for them?
Go ahead, Phil.
I just want to personally thank you guys for what you do for the town. We really appreciate you. You're trying to keep us safe and responding to what you do. It's a very difficult job that you do, trying to satisfy how many people in how many different areas. So I just want to say thank you.
Well, I definitely echo that and say it's impossible to satisfy everybody, but, yeah. Rosso Road, I know, there's been concern,
I do as do we.
and, okay. I've got a resident who used,
We're trying.
it's all I can ask. And I would assume that you were already on it, but I told the resident that I would definitely just bring it up when we met, so that's all. Thank you.
Appreciate it. But let us, bottom line is that too, we don't know, we can't fix it, we're gonna try. So the rumor mill, and I use that term loosely just as, again, for example, but a lot of stuff gets spread around, honestly, a lot of times people, everybody thinks we know, we don't know. If we don't know, we don't know, and that is the way it is often, like, I used to come to these meetings all the time, when I was in the state police, used to go every month, in different towns, and, that's where I learned a lot of stuff, they were like, well, I'm sure you know, we didn't know, and that's the same way here, we don't know, so let us know. It's easier for us to handle it if we don't, just send an email. If that's different than a report of a crime in progress or recent, if there's a hindrance or a nuisance to you, let us know, we can put some time there.
Right.
I got a question. I know your department is 24/7.
Correct.
Home invasion set, using, after state police are off for the evening. Are you guys responding, how, what's?
So the way it's always worked, and he can speak better from, he's been in this agency a lot longer, but any major crime that's in progress within our earshot, meaning we can scan all everybody, we're gonna send somebody to hold the scene till at least they get there. It's
Okay.
a safety issue,
Well,
we're never gonna we're not gonna not.
Yeah, when there was the robbery over here,
Yeah, we,
next door,
Okay.
early in the morning, we weren't covering, but we got a phone call. And that happens
all the time.
around Franklin County, like if there's a bad wreck on the highway after hours, or, you know, if it's something that needs an immediate response, we're gonna go do what we can in the short time that we're there until someone else can get there.
Or at least make it safe.
Right, and I think the reason I asked is there's a lot of misconceptions that there's no coverage.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
That's kind of
I
an
don't,
initial thing, so to
yeah,
speak.
I don't think that it's no coverage, it's just
Limited.
Very limited.
very, very.
Then that way, I hope.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else have anything else for Warren? Okay, thank you a lot, and we appreciate you coming. We'll talk to you again.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks again.
Be safe.
Thank you.
Stage for like 10 extra minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Not in trouble.
Okay,
So,
safe.
so Richard, that lady that just
Amy-
mentioned that.
Amy Brewer,
Yes.
I figured it was. So, safe routes to school,
Yep.
Amy Brewer?
Yes, hi. I'm just gonna, is it okay if I start? Okay.
No.
Um,
No.
Just
Back of the
safer,
line.
no. So hi, my name is Amy Brewer. I'm not sure if I've met all of you or any of you. And I am the regional coordinator for the Safe Routes to School program. This is why I asked you. Thank you. So I've been talking with, so our goal is to help young people learn how to move themselves about their communities, find safe ways to move themselves, whether it's on wheels of some sort or on foot to school when it's safe and appropriate, and it helps to increase their learning and their focus and their independence and their health and all kinds of other wonderful things. So we've been talking about ways to do that. I'm working with the school, and so far we've decided on, the school's decided on a model of, they do a remote drop-off at the church once a month, the second Tuesday of the month. And the fire department and the police department, thank you, help the kids cross at those kind of major intersections. And all the kids who ride the bus or can get dropped off by a parent are able to walk to school. And it's super fun and it's super exciting. And the reason I came today is just kind of talk to you, that make sure that you know what's happening and it's exciting and everybody's thrilled about it, but also looking for ways that we can continue to make it safe for young people and all people to maneuver themselves around the community. And I think Highgate has a great history of that with the sidewalks that have been built and the plans for the community center, which I'm sure has all kinds of names that I'm not using correctly, but all kinds of plans. And so everything that you can do to kind of work with me and the school and the community to help make it safer is just kind of icing on the cake. And actually it's more foundational. It's really the cake, right? So that we can, everybody has access to that. So I do want to say thank you to the police for helping to cross those students once a month. I really appreciate it. That's what I wanted you to say. So I can say thank you. Yeah. See, not in trouble. So anyway, that's who I am, that's what I'm trying to do. The principal is really excited, we've talked about it, just finding ways to sort of make that work as much as possible for everybody. So yeah, all positive, I'll look for your information, you don't have to do anything.
Anybody have anything for you?
I like her.
I have one quick question. With the crosswalk that's out here, is it possible to literally teach the kids how to use that? Because, I mean, we even have it on camera. They'll push the button and run. They don't wait for the lights to flash, they don't wait for the cars to stop. And I can't tell you how many cars I've seen swerve around and go through that little park right there, or a trailer truck stop, or a car behind them not stop, and zoom around them, and trying to avoid these kids. And
So it sounds like everybody needs to be taught how they work.
Yeah.
Sounds like
I just
yeah.
get a little nervous when they're out there and they just push the button and go. They don't
That's
wait for the yellow light or anything.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
And they
that's,
just,
no, it is.
you know, and I think,
That's a great point.
because I can't even tell you how many times I'm like, oh crap, here we go, and Lord knows we've had enough accidents in this area lately that we don't need any more, especially involving kids.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars don't stop for them flashing
Oh,
lights.
no, they don't.
They see them, they just keep on sailing through.
So that has been one of the benefits of the walking, of everybody walks, is that the police and the fire have that natural opportunity to say, we push the button, we wait, and we go. So kids are kind of learning that we could boost that, we can talk about it more intentionally.
Yeah.
But it sounds like there needs to be a driver component too.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you for bringing that up.
Okay, anybody have anything else for me? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Next, Russo Drive.
Yeah, do we have anybody here for Diesel Drive? Okay. Yes, once we have the outdoor noise here. Okay, so can you?
I felt to hear you guys are there.
Yes,
Who's on there?
Cassie Fraser and Elaine Conger, are you here for Diesel Drive too? Yes, okay. So those are both on.
Okay.
So,
my question is that I heard that the concern was that the cul-de-sac there, the turnaround wasn't large enough for the truck to go around. I didn't know if they ever did a dry run to see if it would fit.
I know there's, I don't think that's been the only thing. I know, I went down there with Butch Morris, and the drainage down below, there's a culvert, that would be a problem. But, I think the biggest thing, Morris, is right now, we aren't taking on any more developments right now. The reason is that we aren't is because we just, the way taxes are going up, and we'd have to put, if we take more on, we'd have to put on a fourth highway person, more trucks. Our garage, our shed isn't quite big enough. So as of right now, we've turned down Corey Lane, and we're gonna say no to you guys too right now.
Now, what's this drainage problem? I've never ever seen any.
Well, it's just, I was down there with Butch. I'd have to get more information. But we looked at it a year ago or so, and it would have to, there's like a wash in there, a culvert. Butch said it wasn't the right size. I can't exactly remember, but I know that was an issue. But setting that aside, that isn't one of our reasons for not accepting it, just that we aren't right now. With the board isn't, because of taxes and have gone up, and the more help, and So,
Yeah, I know my taxes went up too, but I think we're not really asked for much, because we don't get anything out of our taxes, really. Because I mean, we don't have any kids in the system and all that stuff, so I mean, the only thing I'm asking for is the roads and level.
yeah. And I understand where you're coming from, Morris, but if we took on Duso, we'd have to take on Quarry Lane, and there's more coming, and that's just gonna bring, you know, right
If
now.
that's the case, then you should update the town policy to say that you're not taking on any more roads, because as the way it's written right now, it seems as though anybody can apply to have this done. So it doesn't really make sense to have a policy in
This is
place to
Cassie.
accept roads.
So were you able to hear her?
Yeah,
She wants to change the town policy, but your
Well, I'm
town,
just saying that it's not very clear in the town policy, if you're not currently taking on new roads, that should be reflected in the policy. Because as it's written right now, anybody can come to you and ask for this, and it strictly says, in accordance with the provisions, 5% or more of the people can sign a petition, essentially, or you can pick it up to consider reclassification without a petition. But if that's done, which seems as though that's the case when these situations come up, you still need to go and inspect the road and go through the process before you can deny us taking on the road.
if
You still need
you,
to go through the process.
if you look at your road acceptance policy, it clearly states it's at the discretion of the select board.
But where?
I don't have the document in front of me, but if you look closely, it's very clearly stated.
So I'm looking at it right now, and the process, regardless, the process as it states is 5% or more of the residents in town desiring to have a road reclassified, altered, or discontinued may petition in writing to the select board. Okay, fine. The next line says, it is also the right of the select board to consider the reclassification without a petition. Is that what's happening right now? We are considering the reclassification without a petition.
No, you are not reclassifying the road in any way, shape, or form.
But no, so what I'm saying though is the way that this is stated is it says, it is the right of the select board to consider the reclassification.
You're not asking to be reclassified.
How are we not though? We were asking to be reclassified as a town road as opposed to a private road.
They're talking about, a class 2, class 3, class 4 road.
Okay, so
So that's a different, yeah, that's different than asking the town to take over a private road.
is there not a policy in place for this?
There is a policy in place for that, and it says at the sole discretion of the select board.
But where would that be if it's not in the road acceptance policy?
It's in the road acceptance policy.
But I'm looking at it and I'm looking at the process of it
You're
right now.
looking at a reclassification.
So, okay. I guess I'm confused. It's not very clear that that's what's going on here.
She needs the road acceptance policy, right, not the road classification policy.
I wasn't on this board when the Deso Road was denied. I personally am very torn about it because I feel as taxpayers of this town, one side of me is I feel as taxpayers of this town, in good standing, that this road should be taken care of by the town. On the other side of the coin, we are put under a magnifying glass for spending money. And to do this, to take these roads on, we have to raise taxes. We have to add a fourth driver, a fourth public works. We have to do some things to do that. So it's a double-edged sword. It really is, because these people deserve, they pay their taxes, they deserve something for that.
Service.
The services that a lot of people get. I mean, having said that, there's a lot of people that pay taxes down that the state plows the road. But that's neither here nor there right now, because, you know, we have people spending a lot of money for their homes and paying a lot in taxes, And, I mean, I lived on a road that was private as well. All the things were done to meet the requirements. That road was taken over, but that was the last road I recall. And I recused myself from all discussion about that. I did not speak to a single person on this board about that, because I lived on that road. But the fact that I live on THAC and not diesel, I feel very strongly that we need to figure some way of helping them out. If we can't at least plow that road, we need to do something to help them compensate towards plowing that road, something. I think there's a solution to this, we just gotta figure out what we can do.
Can it be subcontracted in?
Greatly appreciate that too, because we've been up to date. We're up to date on all of our stormwater permitting. We've continued to make sure that that's happened regardless.
I mean-
We've taken on the expense of that, having to have an HOA in order to pay for that. And that's, on top of our taxes. And there's 10, 12 homes in here, and we each pay about $40,000 per house for the last 5 years.
Okay, ma'am. I'm gonna read what, this was the last time, and this is what we fed, what Butch expressed concerns about the drainage and the stormwater issues. Heidi believes they're current on the stormwater permit, but the aberrated some that this is a complex development. So, did you understand what I said, or?
I don't understand what you're saying, sitting right next to you. No, you said it right, I just don't understand the verbiage.
Right, I don't understand.
Wasn't that, you didn't say it right, it just,
Not any more complex than the one across the road.
Judy.
When Brendan applied for his permit to put that park in, did he have to meet certain guidelines?
Yes.
Were those guidelines met?
I can't,
I can't tell you that.
I can't answer
You
that question.
can't tell me that.
Well, just that I guess, what we went down and looked at it, but I guess we haven't had nobody go down and check it out and see if it is. Butch went down and we'd have, Butch went over it, but.
I know there's 12 units down in that park, and we all pay good taxes to this town. And I think we deserve to have something for our tax dollars.
Right, and I think you do.
And that's just it, I mean,
Yeah.
I believe you're absolutely right, I think it's very unfair as well, but there's gotta be a way that we can help out these developments that we can't actually physically take over without causing taxes to go crazy. I know that a town cannot go on a private road, Mrs. Rouse has a question. Towns can't go on private roads because they're not insured for it. But I don't know, I'm just throwing this out, I'm snowballing it, I have no idea. But if the town could figure out per 100 feet or whatever the length of the road is, that we help offset the cost of that to a private contractor. That we give a lump sum of money for that, for the season or whatever, to help offset the cost of a private contractor doing it.
That would be,
I don't know, I just don't know that.
that would be legally inadvisable.
Okay, fine, I'm just, that's why I say I'm spitballing it.
And I don't understand why you let all these developments go in if you do not want to maintain them, the roads.
Okay, I have a question. I understand where they're coming from about their development.
Yeah.
But I think when you have a development coming into town, you should have to have them meet a guideline that is accessible for the town to be able to go through that road and plow, not just let them just put in a bunch of houses and then years later, oh no, we want you to plow now. But before it was private, it should start out at the beginning to be, okay, this is what you're gonna have for a road if you want us plowing it. Otherwise, it will be private.
Which Brendan didn't follow. He had guidelines he had to go by, and he followed everyone that he had to do.
You already mentioned one thing, culvert not the right size.
Apparently something was right.
So that's one guideline we did follow, if the culvert.
So it hasn't gotten to speak here.
I think we take time first and then.
No, take this.
Okay, go ahead.
Mrs. Conger,
Yes.
you tried to speak before and you were cut off. Would you like to say something now?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm having a hard time hearing this whole conversation. I'm hearing half this up. But yeah, they're paying taxes. So, I don't, like, what's the point of paying taxes if you can't get a roof up? And we've been here like past 5 years.
Are you able to hear her?
No.
Okay, so
Yeah.
she doesn't understand. She's been there for 5 years, and what's the point of paying taxes if she can't get her road plowed?
What do you plan on?
We do understand, and we'll throw it out there, that part of the reason that this is coming up is because, and I think most of us will agree, we don't always love Brendan, who we had to deal with to put our houses in. But we were under the impression that he built the road to the town specifications so that it would be easy for the town to take over. That was always what all of us told since the very beginning. So that's part of the reason why we were confused. And also, we went back and looked, and the timeline of when he told us that, when you guys had met about this originally, he told us after you guys had met that this was happening. And that you guys had already decided that you weren't willing to take the road on. So we were kind of a little bit waiting. We all had personal stuff going on too, but it was collectively agreed upon that we were all under the impression that the road was built with the knowledge that it would be taken over. So I guess that's why I understand someone who's saying, you know, you should be able to come back years later and press the issue, but we were all under the impression that once all of the houses were in here, which they just barely have been in for the last, I believe, maybe year and a half, maybe 2 years at this point, that like the road was built to the town specifications for the purpose of, there was the understanding that it was going to be taken over. We were all under that impression. Yes.
Okay, I think the biggest thing was, I don't think it was all to take over the town, I think it was put in for fire and rescue. That was one of the, it has to be up for fire and rescue. And I think that was one of the biggest things that Brandon or Mr. Dusso did, and I don't think it was about taking over the road for plowing.
First time I heard.
I would disagree with that, okay.
It's gonna be up to for fire and rescue.
But I don't understand that.
The road has to pass.
They can't go down there?
But it has to be so wide and to get fire trucks in there to, you know, if you had a fire for shuttle water and all that, you gotta have room to get down in there.
Yeah, that road is wider than some of the others that have been in, some of the others.
Well, it meets the spec, it meets that spec.
Yeah.
What they're saying is that it meets that spec for the fire and the rescue and so forth. That was this, but the only thing I know about the spec was there was even a certain amount of inches of asphalt that needed to be laid down. And I don't know, I only know a little bit about it because I lived on a road that.
No, but you don't bring that issue up after the development was approved.
But the whole, right, so the whole thing, in my opinion, it should have been the developer, should have done his due diligence to find that out.
It sounds like to me that the drainage is acceptable with a private contractor plowing because he's putting the snow in different location. And if the town's going down in there, it's gonna be all going at that end where the drainage is. So you're gonna have a lot more snow to melt, you know, with that drainage that's not big enough.
Well, we have a
For snow
plow down there now. I mean, they been plowed up in there for you.
Are they all sticking in the same spot, or is it like plowed like a driveway and they just
No,
go in?
no, they're plowed like normal.
Oh, they
Yeah,
have
there's not big, huge banks pushed up that I've
No,
ever
I have
seen.
to
Even
check
as-
with them.
Alright, so I got no skin in the game by any means, but, are properties on a private road assessed, is that property value assessed different than on a town maintained road or a state maintained road?
No.
I don't believe
No.
so.
Ours not
There's
private.
there's no figure in the assessment.
Not on by the road.
There's your fix for future. It doesn't do you any good for, but, you know. The second thing is, it sounds like the road acceptance policy needs to be updated, so that way any, again, it's for future,
Right.
that they know that the town currently isn't, and then someday they may be in a position to accept. But if you start accepting roads, the way the state makes it, if there's 3 properties on a driveway, it's considered a road in the state's eyes.
Yep.
So you're opening up a huge can of worms by accepting any more roads. Because you then, without updating that, because then you're gonna have Linloo, Rock, Morris Drive.
They still have to meet the A76 standards.
Right, but,
Now, we're private.
Any of them-
Linwood would not
currently, but,
currently.
I mean, you're gonna have 14 plow trucks.
Well, when they come before the zoning board, we tell them, you know, you gotta do the A76 standards, 18 inches of stone, and like 3.5 inches of blacktop, something like that. You do 1.5 inches of blacktop, then you do a 2-inch blacktop layer. But we do not guarantee the takeover.
Is there anything mentioned about takeover in the zoning?
That they mention it, we said we don't guarantee it.
So it's a possibility,
We said it's up to the
which is
select board.
misleading as well.
It's up to
Again, I
the
don't have
select
any
board.
skin in this game either,
I don't either,
but it was misleading 10,
We
15
say
years ago.
there's no
When I bought my
guarantee,
house.
it's up to the select board.
Yeah, the zoning clearly says as well, it's up to the select.
Because we tell them it's gonna, the road's gonna be so wide, you
Yeah.
know.
That area, it's a better road than Route 78.
207.
We don't get much
So you
traffic.
can
so
do
it's not bad around.
what we did for Quarry Lane and give yourself
We'll do
45
407.
days to, make a decision.
We need to put more thought into this, we need to do something. And I definitely think that we need to do that. We need to do something for these roads. And I don't have any skin in the game either, and I pay tax like everybody else does, but it's not right that they don't get services. It's not right, in my opinion. I'm not speaking for the board.
Again, like I said, what kind of a can of worms are you opening up, because is it a private road right now?
That's what we
Private?
need.
No, it's not a private.
It's not
road.
private?
It doesn't
No.
say private on the road.
Doesn't?
Yes.
Not a private road.
Is it
He was
private?
told all the criteria was met, that the town would take over the pond of the road.
He mislead you.
But if-
It's still a private road.
If it's private, I'm saying, there's a lot of people in town that have private driveways to their places, I mean, way long. Are you opening up something that they're gonna all start pissing them all in at you and say, well, we
This is what
want?
we need to really put some heart and
You
soul
know?
and some thought into this and come up with something
Right,
that's gonna be fair for
because
everybody.
everybody's gonna say, well, I
Because-
want you plowing my road now.
Of course, and that's why I have no idea what the answer is gonna be, I don't even know who to begin to talk to.
I don't think it would take over 15 minutes to go down there and back up through, if that.
That's one
I
road.
mean,
That's
it's not
one
a
road.
That's one road.
It's also not just that, it's the liability of the asphalt breaking off the edges. It's the road's starting to be beat up, say there isn't enough asphalt, and the heavier trucks that, destroying the road, and then it's the taxpayers on the hook to fix that. I mean, there's a lot more to it than just hitting that road with a plow,
Yeah, and you're gonna want repaving.
and that's the big thing, right? I mean, and that's what we have to, as a board, to me, as a board, that's what we have to look out for the bigger interest.
Yep.
But there's still gotta be something we can do. There's gotta be something.
Is there any other comment? Okay, what we will do is, the board will talk about it, and we'll come up with a verdict, and we'll let you know in 45 days, is it?
You know what, also, another question is, there is a sidewalk there too, that's being currently plowed. I didn't know, that probably wouldn't be part of the town plowing.
No.
No, because
This is all part of the big picture, right? Would it be?
Yeah.
I think it would have to be, if the town's plowing the road, they'd have to maintain the
Sidewalk
sidewalk
would be
too.
within our right of way, so therefore. it would be-
So then the town would have to be responsible for that as
The
well.
sidewalk, it doesn't have a lip that goes up, it's all flat,
Yeah.
so it's not like.
It's only a little.
But-
The road, only a little.
8 inches of grass
You walk
is-
down through there many times.
Absolutely, but again, you're talking, bottom line, I mean, you're talking, it's gonna take more people, it's gonna take more equipment, it's take more time. And that's where we have to come up with something, Adam.
There's no contracted plow
Okay,
person,
appreciate
just
whatever
sidewalk.
you do.
Who does the sidewalk now? Your contracted plow person?
What's his name?
Or something?
Schultz.
James?
Oh, I
Schultz.
know.
So,
Okay, you ready? Well,
so it's not, the
That's it.
homeowners are not maintaining the sidewalk.
So
I don't know
The
why they
homeowners
keep.
are-
Cassie and Elaine, were you able to hear the board? Okay, so,
The only part I didn't hear was there would have to be a decision in 45 days, and we need to come up with some sort of solution.
yes, well, basically that was it in a nutshell. You'll get a written letter within 45 days telling you of their decision. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
It's gotta be something.
Have a good evening.
You too, Mr. Barrow.
Getting old, I can't walk that.
You do better than most, my friend.
We need to have Weston in for this is
Okay, moving on.
Let's reel it in, people.
So- The gun club had asked for, to be open on Mondays at the last meeting. They have rescinded that request, so that is no longer an issue. We did say at that time that we should have some type of agreement with them, and after consulting with the legal counsel, we were told that our best option was to make sure that they had a permit on file with the town. So they are gonna be going through zoning. So, that's what'll happen there.
Okay.
The loitering ordinance, I've added MVU, and if you have a motion to sign, I will send that around.
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second? Have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, or not?
So register in the, what is that?
That's for any public place in Highgate.
The park.
Right, parks.
Yeah, it's all the public.
So good.
Just MDU was missed on the list, so we added.
And it's after 10 o'clock, what is the time frame of that?
It's 24/7, the select board had changed it to instead of just after hours.
Because
Any time if you're,
Oh, you
it
need.
used to be the park, no one could be hanging out when they're after 10 o'clock at night. So that's still gonna be the.
well, it'll be 24/7. If you're hanging around without purpose, then they can ask you to leave.
Okay.
Oh, he was supposed to be on that.
Doesn't matter.
So,
All right, we'll do
That's what I wondered.
yeah, well, I apologize.
Well, I think it's because he was missed at the meeting and that.
Oh, that could be, yes, he was on last meeting. Okay, we also looked at, the mobile or traveling vendor fees last time.
Correct, yeah.
Vern had asked what other towns did. Fairfax, they have a one-time fee of $75 or a yearly permit fee of $100. St. Albans Town does $75 a day or $300 per season. St. Albans City does $10 plus $5 per employee. Fairfield, Franklin, and Alberta have 0. So you can choose to leave it at our current $25 a day with a $200 refundable deposit. And that would allow you to support small businesses in your town.
I would make the motion to leave the policy as is.
Scott?
I'll second it.
Okay. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All the ayes have it, 4-0. Okay. Treasurer? Shelley?
Hello. Richard, you have the check warrant in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah, has everybody had a chance to?
Yes.
Look at it? So, can I have a motion to accept?
Make a motion to accept it.
Motion, a second?
I'll second it.
Have a second, all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Okay.
Just a few quick updates while you're signing that. I'll start with the delinquent list. We're down to $43,154.31. A couple more people have paid that bill off and have started payment plans for the new year, which I think is the first time for a few of them, so.
Excellent.
Yeah, good. On to what we've been living in this month. We have collected so far $2,122,811.20. And I have $6,238,839.14 to go. So, it's gonna be a busy 2 weeks. Taxes are due on the 31st. Please do not wait till the last day. And if you need a payment plan, please reach out.
See money?
That is all I have for you.
Okay,
Unless you have something.
Wendy.
We have minutes from, when we were last together, September 21st.
Has everybody got a chance to look at the minutes?
Make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
A second?
Have to be you, Richard. Oh, were you there?
I was not.
You were not there, you were there. Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you. The only other thing I have is since our last meeting, our new zoning administrator started, so this was her second week with us. And I would say it's going very well.
Excellent. Very good.
She fits in personality-wise, she's learning, doing a lot of reading, going through files, asking a lot of questions. Sharon and I are spending some time with her. It's just like anything else, until something comes in the door and you have to deal with it hands-on. So she's done some permits, a driveway permit, she's, stars aligned. The stars aligned and we were able to cancel the DRB meeting for October, but we're already full for November. So it gives her a little more time to get acclimated and, so yeah, things are going well. She had a site visit today with Sharon. So I would say so far, thumbs up. And that's really all I have.
Okay, thank you, Wendy. Sharon?
Okay, so I've got a boatload. First thing, this is a public meeting for the zoning bylaw changes that are proposed. So if anyone has any questions or concerns about those, they're welcome to reach out to me. And if there's any public comment now, we're happy to take that at this time.
David?
Why quarter-acre lots? And where, is it just gonna be like in the center, or is it the whole village outline?
It's the designated village center, just in Highgate Center.
Okay, which is approximately from where to where?
It's approximately to McEwen's, to the.
So it's the yellow.
It's right in here, it's a good.
Alright, so I'll pass the cemetery on my road, up to Richards, by your place.
Yeah, it's a little bit smaller than that, but yeah, roughly.
Oh.
The rail trail down.
The arena's in it, Forest Arena.
So part of that is the state. The state is requesting all of the zoning boards in the state to consider going to this quarter-acre lot in the village centers in order to increase the availability of housing. So you hear on the news all the time, they want more affordable housing, they want more housing, need more housing for people. That's part of the governor's plan and in updating these bylaws. For Highgate, that's only a small portion. I mean, there's a lot of other changes as well.
I looked up the section for the state. And a lot of the smaller areas, anything under half acre, is requiring that town or city is supposed to have water and sewer in place to go to the smaller lots. We don't have that yet. So I think we're putting the cart before the horse on doing these changes already, but we don't have that in place. If you're going with a quarter acre, you're 100 by 100 roughly,
Right.
and your setbacks are gonna be different. Your footprint for your building lots, according to what I read, is 900 square feet for the home. So I think we need to do more research on that before we go down to quarter acre lots in town when we don't have water and sewer for these people to hook up to.
It is just a possibility, so the DRB still has the option to say, no, in this particular spot, you need to have a half acre. In this particular spot, you need to have 1 acre. This just allows the DRB to go with the flow. So to be able to do this in the event that does happen.
So won't that just be, let's call under the variance that we already do as it is?
No,
No?
no,
You can't do a variance on that?
you can't do a variance down to a quarter acre lot, no.
So everybody else, if it's a quarter acre already or a third acre or whatever, that's already grandfathered in because we're already being taxed on that and there's a home there or whatever.
Right,
That's already
exactly.
grandfathered in.
So, the one I know right off is like Sylvia Blue's house.
Yep.
That's not a very big lot.
No.
But that's grandfathered in, and it's part of that village center, along with a lot of the other lots right there that don't happen to be 1 acre lots.
I have a third of an acre that's in the
Right.
village center.
Right, so I mean, that just makes it equal for you or your neighbor to have less than an acre lot.
I personally think everything should be an acre in town, or throughout the whole town, minimum of an acre. Unless it's already grandfathered in, then that's what you have.
Right.
But there's not many spots in the village that are able to be subdivided down to that small of an acre anyways.
Well, and the other thing that the governor is doing is they're asking for more accessory dwelling options. So say you want to put a mother-in-law tiny house on your lot, and you want to hook it up to your septic and your water. That's allowed under the new rules. You know, you have some leeway there that allows you to have that, even if you wanted to do a Airbnb, if you did it correctly, that would be now allowed. You could do it for farm help, you could do it for whatever reason, but it's another way the governor is trying to ask for more affordable housing.
Making this change, when I sat in that, correct me if I'm wrong, it was, so we didn't have to go through it again if water and sewer was, and it was saving the town money by making that change now. Because if you go down to a quarter acre, you're not getting a septic system on that, you know what I mean? It's what, it's 50 by 50 or something.
52 and a half by 52 and a half.
Yeah.
Then your setbacks.
Yeah, but what it does is it saves the town money and have to go through this again.
Right, so right now, we're working with
100.
the Northwest Regional Planning on this, along with several other towns in Franklin County.
Right.
And they're doing this as one project so that it's economical to do it, you know, with their help. So yes, that's why we're doing it at this time, also at the behest of the governor's office and the legislature.
Yeah. I just don't feel we need to go down to the quarter acres just because the governor wants us to do that. I feel we can say no because, again, now what's it gonna do to everybody's taxes? Because now say pretend I live in little town, part of the village, and I have a half an acre. And say, is that gonna change my taxes because now everything's a quarter acre? So now my land's gonna go up in value because I have more?
No,
It's not gonna change taxes even though.
you're based on your acreage.
But if
Your
everybody,
tax rate says dwelling plus X amount of acres.
but if everybody around you is,
You all done here?
Okay.
if everybody around you is, so you got, like, my place is an acre, then everybody around me subdivides off and goes down to quarters all the way around me. My value of my place is gonna shoot right up because I got an acre of land, and everybody else has a quarter acre. And the way the homes are selling recently around here are insane prices for tiny houses with tiny lots. So I think we're status quo the way we're at.
So when you sell your house, it could be worth 4 times more.
I don't plan on selling it, we've been there since like 1903. So I don't plan on going anywhere.
Life changes, you never know.
I plan on going 8th mile up the road is when I move.
Those are small little quarter lots.
It would be a smaller than quarter lot.
But I've got one more question
Free
about the
moment.
quarter acre stuff. See, there's something up somebody's sleeve about these quarter acres. I wanna know what are they gonna do with the Mayshay house? Are they gonna put that on just a quarter acre and change the land there? And go, woo-hoo, we can take all the rest of the land and just leave the house with a quarter acre?
No, it's gonna depend on who has money that'll buy that.
I mean, it's not, the town's not gonna change it before it could be sold to a quarter acre?
Whether it's
That's why I wondered about this quarter acre thing.
before or after, it's still gonna be whoever has the money to buy it
But
and develop
what does it come with for land now, the Mayshay house, like a half acre or so?
it. Right now, it's all together.
It's 2 acres or something. or
So-
almost two.
2 point
Two
something.
acres. But I thought, well, see, I thought maybe even a half acre or something, I didn't know.
Like subdivided.
They're gonna say, well, let's make it down to a quarter acre, cause now we got more land we can do other things with.
You're still only gonna have 2.17 acres.
Right, but you're not gonna subdivide it.
What if they subdivided it to quarter acres is
You
what I'm
might be able
saying.
to.
I mean, the
That's
town's
That's
not,
what I'm saying.
Right,
the town's not gonna.
town's looking for some people that want to
Business.
help develop that, yeah.
But in theory, you got 2 acres, you could put 8 lots
Yep.
there.
Yep.
And
Yes.
sell 8.
That's
different
what I'm
locations.
wondering why
And
it
you can
wants to
put
be
4
done.
on your property.
But,
I got
but
enough
to do that,
buildings there already.
Right, but you're asking a hypothetical,
Yeah.
so I'm giving you a hypothetical back.
Yeah,
You can take your property and turn it into 4.
but to do that, you have to have the sewer and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's no way,
Right.
there's capacity to do it, but you could never develop it.
so why don't we wait until we get water and sewer before we make these changes? Because you're making changes that can't be done anyways because we don't have water and sewer.
Because that one change is one of 6 pages of changes.
7.
And
There's a little bit on page 7.
Probably 16,000.
Right.
this quarter acre thing, I don't think it should be done overnight. Say, yes, let's do it.
It hasn't, we've had
No, but
at least
I
5 warned public meetings.
I think, it should like be on the town March ballots or something so that every voter in Highgate can vote for this, not just the 10 people that show up and say, oh, well, they're the only people concerned about it. Probably not, because a lot of people didn't know about this quarter acre stuff.
Only 10 people show up to town meeting.
Well,
Exactly.
and only 20
Well, not
show
just
up to
that,
vote.
Michelle, everybody can't go to the town meetings. My 90-year-old mother can't.
So until we vote
That's
to
what I'm
change it,
saying.
it's on the
So
floor.
not everyone is
Okay.
voting on this no matter what.
Okay, well, let's get back to the quarter lots.
So, in saying that, then you'd want every single one of these zoning bylaw changes to go before the town meeting. You would be thrown out of town if you did that. Well, you might be right there.
Well, I didn't know, I'm just asking you, Sharon, it's,
Yeah.
it's just a question, I didn't know if it's something that could go in front of the people, everybody, or no, it's just like every, you know.
Well,
it's.
Right, yeah, that's why we try to go above and beyond to try to make sure people know what's going on in town and putting, this is specifically posted just as zoning bylaw changes, it's.
The other thing about the setbacks, okay, in town is 40 feet from the center of the road. That would have to be changed, because if you keep it 40 feet from the center of the road, 10 feet from the property line, you're only gonna be able to build it maybe 20 by 20 in that footprint. Yeah, with all this setbacks.
Right, so that's.
900 square feet anyway.
So you're not build a big building in a quarter acre, really, with the setbacks. So the setbacks will have to change.
Yeah.
So then I'd have to, but that's another thing the governor probably don't know our setbacks. So I don't always.
No, I'm sure all towns have different setbacks depending on how they want
So all the
to
setbacks
develop
will
their
have to
town.
change, because like right now, it'd be 52.5 feet by 52.5 feet that 4 acres. Then you take 10 feet off the back. Then you take, I don't know, whatever the road width, and it'd probably be another 15 feet off the front.
But see, right now,
Then
they
20
can't even bring it before the DRB.
Then you got 10 feet on each side, so there's another 20 feet on the sides. So you got like a 30 by 20, maybe 30 by 30 building with the setbacks. So those are gonna have to be changed.
We're dealing with that somewhere else with property, expense line and a little bit, and we get it.
Okay, is there any more? Anybody have any other questions? We'll move on.
Okay. But in response, I will certainly bring it to the DRB back to ask them what their thoughts are. Because that's part of the process in warning these and getting people's feedback.
David?
One last question, and then I gotta
You gotta go back to work.
go back to work. I heard rumors that there may be allowing up to 3-story buildings in the new zoning bylaws.
Yes.
So with that,
No taller than 40 feet.
with that note, we'll possibly have to look at purchasing a ladder truck for the fire department.
It's when you mutually, don't need a ladder truck.
Well, we shouldn't have to require those.
So that's
We're
another
about
thing.
mutual aid for
We're gonna have to change in our zoning bylaws. Because in our zoning bylaws, you can't build over 35 feet high. So
Yeah,
they're saying 40 feet.
That's why it's on that sheet. Yeah, that I've given you a couple times.
You didn't read it, Woody?
I read some of it.
I think you bring up a valid point, David, that should be brought up before that decision's finally made.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
we shouldn't have to worry to call a mutual aid for
You're right.
something we're allowing to happen. If we're allowed to build that high in town, we should be able to support what's being built in town. We shouldn't have to call mutual aid, but hey, we got fire in town, you need to bring your truck. And they're out on a fire already with their truck,
How tall is a silo?
we just knocked them down. with a
Oh, wait.
Just like that.
Knock it down.
Don't bring that up. They just chop them down here, this one.
Just poke holes in it.
Short ones are what, 50 foot? Short ones are 50 foot.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so there are 2 contracts here for the arena, for signature.
Nick.
You guys all head down, so I'm gonna be executive in a minute, so.
Okay.
See you guys.
Thank you. We got a contract, Highgate Recreation Facility, high school locker room contract. And it is contract Missisquoi Valley Union High School hereby refers to the second party. And so it's a rental of the locker room to, the first one to MBU.
Girls, correct?
Yep, Missisquoi Girls Varsity Hockey Locker Room shall begin on November 1st, 2023 and end on March 30th, 2024. It's 4 months, $100 a month. It's $400. Hey, can I have a motion on the?
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion, have a second?
A second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. And, okay. The next contract is ice rental contract. Missisquoi Valley Union High School hereby refers a second party. Now, rental rates. Okay, the rent to be paid by the second party shall be a rate per hour of $175 rental fee for the remaining effective entire 2023 to 2024 hockey season. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, the next one.
Yeah. Payment, advance,
Yeah, that's all of that other,
okay.
yeah, that's just part of that, just.
Okay.
MBU girls locker room and MBU.
Ice rental.
No, the boys locker room, we're still negotiating with the school district. They're doing a renovation and negotiating price. It's for them, for the locker room rental to cover the renovation costs.
Now,
is
what,
that the school or at the,
Everything.
okay,
so,
because I know a pretty hefty donation that was sent to them, and I would like to know where that offset went.
and Ty, what's, and in Milton, what's, now,
Wayne, that theirs has been sent, but they do, their school district is different than ours, and has to go,
okay,
and how it's formed, it takes longer to get contracts from them.
okay, thank you. You sure?
Okay, next. We have received all the easements for the airport project, to bring water and sewer up. So we are making the last of the contracts. This is a paper that's, needs to be signed by Richard. And it's just saying that the Economic Development Association that has given us the multi-million dollars wants to make sure that we are playing by the rules and that we're doing everything that we need to do in the event that they have to do eminent domain, which they won't have to because it's all state land now. So Richard needs to have a motion to sign.
Hey, can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
A second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, so you sign right here. Then this next one is saying that the select board approves the nomination of me as the official representative of the town of Highgate for the Northwest Vermont Rail Trail Council.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
So
Signify by saying aye.
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 there is a couple of different rail trail committees. Ty is on one and I'll be on the other, and that gives us a seat at the table when they make a decision considering the rail trail. Yeah. Alright. So now, I need a motion from the board to allow me as your administrator to be the authorized signature for the FEMA 1030 Monument Road contract. So that's gonna be $405,000 paid by FEMA to purchase that property and then leave it as basically, yeah, green space and then floodplain. So that's of no cost to the town, it's just a formality.
I'll make that motion to.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have received today a grant for $1,457,719, so $1,457,719 from the Vermont ARPA fund from the Environmental Conservation Board to use toward our wastewater project. So I would need a motion and a signature to accept that grant agreement.
Which wastewater project, the one in the village?
Yes.
Have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Have a motion, that's Scott.
Second.
Second by Mary. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, so right there, what's that? Also, we received another $550,000 from the Clean Water State Revolving Fund for our wastewater. So that's 2.55 million for clean water, and then this is another 1.457. So, yeah, to do that project. Next project is the transfer station. We have finally, after months, received all the permits for the transfer station to go ahead. That contract has come in, and I'm asking, once our legal counsel gets done with it, I'm asking for the authority to sign the contract with Heath Road. You've already accepted that bid at $1.9 million. So if you could authorize me to sign that, we could sign that once Ed okays it.
I'll make that motion.
That's the project that's already supposed to happen.
Yes.
I have a motion by Kyle, do I have a second?
I'll take a second.
Have a second by Mary. All in favor? signify by saying
Aye.
Okay, so as part of that agreement, to get our wetlands permit there, Wetlands is asking the town to, on 207 here on the hill, when you go down to the canoe portage,
Oh, yeah.
from the canoe portage down to the old town road where the Therian Road came to the river.
Yeah.
They're asking us to close that, to put gates up, boulders, logs. They want that protected. They want that to grow back up to just regular vegetation and wildlife. So as part of our mitigation process, that's what they're asking in exchange for we paid $32,000 for that permit. It could have been $245,000. So in exchange for this small strip of land through there, we got that knocked off our permit. But this letter just says that you agree to that condition, and that's something we'll record with Wendy. So if you can make a motion to accept that.
Is that beyond the road that Swan Village got in there?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Kyle,
I'll second
a
it.
second by Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it.
Swan Village is
Sharon, are you gonna have to do the other road too, that was never a road?
They never said a word about that. That's where I think maybe at some point, you know, if the rec wants to develop some recreational trails, you may be able to use that section. But yeah, wetlands only is requiring that thin strip of land along the river and the little islands in the river. They just are terrified about having four-wheelers and people in there.
I think, it's up to you guys, but I think a block and some signage to let them know, because they're just gonna go down in there that way instead.
Right. But yeah, no, we need to be able to keep them out. And the wetlands is pretty particular about the wording on everything that we need to do there. I mean, it's, and they'll be checking. When they come to check on the transfer station, they'll be checking to see if we did our part.
They'll take their money back if they don't.
Yeah, they are particular. As for the other transfer station slide, Nick has done a fantastic job of filling in that hole. Done a great job of trying to rip wrap the bank. Looks really nice. I took pictures. I forgot to load them so you could see them, but looks really nice. Good job.
It's holding.
So far.
I don't know that my repair has seen rain. So let's take a walk Sunday.
Yeah. But that's why I made sure to take all kinds of pictures today to make sure that I knew. FEMA has extended the date to July 21st, which would have included our date. But then they sent me an email saying, sucks to be you. They are telling us that we are not eligible for the bank repair. And the reason they're saying that is because 10 years ago there was an engineered drawing that showed that area as a low priority risk. And they're claiming that we knew it was going to happen and it's our fault. But I am appealing that, saying, look, it took you 10 years to get us the okay and the funding to do the high risk areas, which we have just getting ready to sign the contract. It took you that long to get that. So we did our due diligence. We were taking care of the high priority. We were protecting that landfill from falling into the river. That was our main purpose. We didn't fix the low priority one. Why would we? You know, we were doing our jobs by protecting the high risk areas and the high priorities. So we are fighting that, and I had a conversation again with FEMA this afternoon. So we are not letting that go. We're going to fight for that money.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
And we have, actually I talked to Welch's office yesterday. They are also behind us. All our legislators are behind us, so we're hoping that this works for us. In the meantime, hopefully on Sunday, the patch still looks good. Yeah. Okay. And that's the only other thing I had was I sent you the letter that Richard LaRush is offering to do a dry hydrant. So I gave a copy of this also to the fire department. So if someone wants to follow up on that and see what they're thinking, we can go ahead and get something rolling for that.
Where is he gonna do, Sharon?
He wants to do it 2842 St. Armand Road.
Everybody's house.
Yeah. So it's certainly an option.
Is that it, Sharon?
That's it, I have a few things for executive.
Okay. Select board, have anything?
I got one thing, driving through a small town in Maine today, I saw a sign and, I thought of Dave Browning. We lost Dave 5 years ago already. And I believe they were supposed to do something on that hill to warn of that S-curve. And nothing's been done. And what I saw in the sign is a simple sign, triangle sign, and had LEDs with a solar pad. It looked quite inexpensive compared to a lot of them. And those lights just blink. And it drives your eyes right to it. And all it was saying was coming into a village center. And I thought of Dave Roddy and why we haven't been able to do something with this. So is there a way, I mean, I'll do some homework as far as looking up these signs.
So do we do it at the top of the hill then, is that what you're saying?
I think it's gotta be done at the top of the hill to warn
State
trucks.
road is so it's a state road.
Right, I realize it's a state road,
So do we have to go through the state?
but
Yes, we'd have to approach the state.
I think we should hold them to the fire, because if I recall, they were supposed to do
I
something.
thought we talked.
Because Wayne and Nancy,
The Fists have-
Wayne and Nancy Fish wrote a really
Yeah.
compassionate letter about it and so forth. And I almost remember them saying they were gonna do something, and nothing's been done.
The only thing that was done was they changed the wording on the sign where Carol Ann's vegetable stand used to be. That it says
Deep grade or something.
steep grade
Yes.
12% or whatever. That's all that was done.
Might be a hand grenade they're gonna do is good, because nobody's gonna pay attention to it.
Right.
They need to do something with it. That's what I thought of that today when I was coming through Maine, because I went right to it.
Yeah.
And I thought that is something that would warn people, drivers, that they got some messes coming. And I just think that we should follow up on that, that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, at the top of the other side too, coming down. That was,
Same thing.
yeah. It's a great idea.
I can contact District 8 and see what we need to get that to happen.
Because it's not like we need to spend thousands of dollars. These small towns have these signs. I can't imagine the state's paying for these signs. You deserve better.
Anybody else? You all set, Kyle?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. I guess, a motion to go into exec.
I'll make that motion.
A second.
I'll second it.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we'll invite Sharon into exec with us, along with, Nick and.
Yes.
Nick. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
everybody say aye.
Thank you.